Welcome to Heroes Rising, hosted by Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, public speaker, and the founder of Speaking Prowess. Known for his expertise in empowering individuals through the art of communication and leadership. Alongside him is co-host Jose Escobar, an acclaimed personal development speaker, 18-time published author, and founder of 2 thriving businesses, including the Connected Leaders Academy. Together, they bring you dynamic conversations with world-class entrepreneurs, industry icons, and visionaries. Heroes Rising is your go-to source for wisdom, motivation, and unstoppable growth. Join us and discover the hero within you.
Scott, good afternoon. You don't look like Jose by any chance.
What happened? Absolutely. Jose is a great friend, a great co-host for you, happens to be traveling. So honored to be here with you.
Yeah, well, thank you for stepping in. And I know he will be thrilled that you did so, because who better to represent such an incredible human being than another incredible human being?
Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Looking forward to the show.
Absolutely. And we have 2 incredible people who are going to be joining us. And I love the topic, and they're phenomenal. It's focus first, learn faster, lead better. And wait till you meet these guys. They're incredible. You ready? Concetta.
Absolutely. Bring them.
Come on down. Howdy, howdy.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello. So, Concetta, tell us where you're coming from.
I come from Italy, actually, but I live in the Netherlands. So, yeah, it was a very nice surprise to discover that I come from the same region of Matt's grandparents, apparently. Like,
That's very cool.
this world is very small. Yeah. Yes,
It is a
I live in the
small
Netherlands.
Yeah. Matt, Tampa man, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Even better now than I'm with you guys. My specialty is I help students of all ages, from grade school through grad school through adult learners, by giving them the mental power tools to be able to learn whatever they're interested in faster and easier than they ever could before. And so I'm delighted to be here with all of you.
I love it. I love it. And today's topic is focus first. I mean, that's such an integral part of learning. Without focusing, what are we doing? Chaos can seep in really quickly, right? And if we don't focus, chaos will be the leader in our lives. Scott, you're such an incredible human being. You've shared the stages with so many other people who were just enamored by you. And I know they're big names, but actually I think you're the bigger name of all of them, and they would agree. How was that important for you when you were on all these stages all over the world?
Well, thank you for the kind words to start. But, I think it's interesting as you were going into that. What came to me is the Henry Ford quote, think you can, think you can't, you're right either way, right? If you're focusing on something, if you believe you have the ability to grasp that, it's very important. So back in the day, very blessed to do over 3,000 live events in my career, massive stages. And what you find out is when you're focusing on the task at hand and working to serve an audience of, say, 25,000, quite frankly, you only see probably the first couple rows because the lights are so bright. People think it's really scary. The fact is it's really not, but that's them, whatever. But the point is then being able to share the stage with those names, and sharing the stage is wonderful. But I think actually the focus comes in the time in the green room, to be able to observe, to be able to talk, to be able to share. Many of my favorite stories are from the green room, are from being back sitting around with the biggest names, on the planet, and realizing they put their pants on the exact same way, one leg at a time, and they are there for many of the same reasons. They're focused on serving the audience, just as you're focused on serving the audience. We might do it in different areas of expertise or have different tasks at hand, but that focus is the same. The intention is the same. And so I think that's one of the greatest lessons that I learned. In fact, quite frankly, one of the seminar companies that I did a tremendous amount with, most people don't know they had a prayer room underneath the arenas and prayer warriors that would pray over the event and pray over the speakers before we went on. I actually think the focus in that room was probably as important, if not more important, than the entire events themselves.
That's powerful right there. Right. Scott, from my understanding, you've even now shared the stage with some of their kids.
I have. And become great friends with them. I mean, I was honored to be, on the road and back in the day with Zig Ziglar and Zig and Julie, his daughter, at one point, and great friends, and have done numerous events with Tom Ziglar, his son, and become great friends. And, as they say, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. Now Tom isn't Zig, nor has he ever tried to be, but Tom is an amazing Tom.
There you go. That's an important thing that you just said also. It's Tom is not Zig, right? And a lot of people, because they lose focus, they try to be someone else.
Right.
But when you're focused, you can't be someone else. It's not possible, is it?
No, you have to be the best you can be. I think that's what we're a big part in. And I'd love to hear Matt and Concetta, talk on the same thing. How you focus into, whether it be your area of expertise or your area of wisdom and knowledge and all those things, and then translate that to the service of others. Who wants to lead, Matt?
So I have a unique little simile on the idea of focus. And I want to propose to you all that when you have the ability to focus, you multiply your brain's power without using any additional energy or without using any additional effort. And so I have a way of explaining it. So here I've got a little magnifying glass. And we've all had the experience of going out into the backyard when we were children, taking a magnifying glass, and maybe you would burn leaves, or I know some of you would burn ants. And so I want you to think about this. So you've got the energy from the sun spreading evenly all over the backyard, and none of the leaves or none of the ants are bursting into flames. But when you use a magnifying glass and you take the energy that's available and you focus it down to a point, what happens? The result is dramatically different. You multiply the result, but you didn't use any more energy from the sun. So you can multiply your power without using any additional energy when you focus on something. And focusing is simpler than people want to give it credit for. Focus is the elimination of everything else that's not a single thing. So multitasking is the exact opposite of focus. So in a nutshell, here's focus in one idea. Do what you're doing while you're doing it. But we don't do that. What happens is we're at work and we're dreaming about being on vacation. And then we're on vacation worrying about what's waiting for us at work when we get back to the office. Do what you're doing while you're doing it.
I love that advice.
That's interesting you said that, Matt. The meme I posted yesterday is be where your feet are. So the whole concept is be present. So just thought of that as you said it.
There's I'm a graduate of a training protocol called EST, and one of their trainings was called Be Here Now.
So true.
What are your thoughts, Concetta?
This is lovely. For sure, I will be using this thing because it's so like the do the thing while you're doing that. It's beautiful, but also the metaphor about the lens is very very powerful, and also about what Scott said before. Uh, I think that one of the biggest problem when I listen to people talking about focus is that usually they complain about not being able to focus, but the thing is that they are not connected with the task. They are not at all connected with the purpose, the real meaning, the intention, as Scott said. There is no intention. And actually, talking about intention is also a matter of get prepared to what you are going to do. And meaning not just rehearsing what you are going to say, but really thinking, why am I doing this? Why is it important? Why what I can achieve with this?
Mm.
I know this with a lot of people. For example, they want to achieve great things. They want to serve people. They want to do all this kind of stuff. But then they say, "Oh, yes, actually, I like what I do, but I cannot focus, for example, on paperwork, on selling, on this kind of stuff." And I always say, "How can you see these things separately if they are all part of what you want to do?" Like serving imply all these things, and you cannot be so you cannot have such a different approach to things, like, and kind of disconnect yourself from the part of the process, like the selling, the preparing, things that are not directly involved in you doing stuff. That's something that it's very very interesting, I think. So when I think focus, for sure the first thing that comes to my mind is intention. And intention is related to the whole process, not what you just enjoy because it comes easier than the rest.
Wow, listening to you talk, Concetta, I got hungry. I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that, because you made me think of a 7-course meal. And a 7-course meal can only be enjoyed one course at a time. If you cannot enjoy a 7-course meal all at once, because if you have soup, salad, chicken, or steak, dessert, or coffee, all in the same one bite, that may be gross. It may be unappealing. But so if you're thinking of, that's why I said you made me hungry, because now I'm thinking of all this food. And considering the fact that a 7-course meal is to be enjoyed, it's not something that you rush through. It's not a fast food takeout. It's something you sit down, you enjoy the ambiance, you enjoy each part of it, and then you'll be full. So you'll complete your tasks at the right time when they're called for, right? Because a lot of times we had an event in New York, and one of the young ladies who came in would have dessert first. And somebody said to her, you want dessert first? She goes, yeah, that's how I do it. And so we all said, interesting. She goes, I am who I am. And like, don't ever change that, right? I mean, I didn't eat dessert because I don't eat dessert, but for her, it worked, right? Guess what she's doing now? She's not eating dessert so much because she was around me. Because she understood that if you do certain things, there is an effect afterwards, right? So Everything is there for a reason. So thank you for making me hungry.
Thank you. Happy to hear.
I think that's a fascinating thought, Sifu, on the multi-course meal and everything. I think we entrepreneurs, especially as official chief cook and bottle washer, right? We have the opportunity to do everything and be everything, and we tend to do everything and be everything all at the same time. And I think a whole part of whether it be Darren Hardy's time blocking, or you take different techniques to then really get these focused periods. Um, 2026, I made it a very specific purpose to focus on certain things at certain times. I do this, 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 this. And it looked like a laundry list early. But now that I've been doing it, it's amazing how much you can get done quickly when you focus and tick off one thing at a time. It's really intriguing. So I think this is an amazing topic, and the whole idea of the meal, yeah, it's like relish that particular portion of it, right? And truly taste it, truly enjoy it, and do whatever. And then it also sounded like a French place where I got to go out and eat after I go out to eat. So that's a whole nother story.
We'll have to sit down together sometime, all four of us, and have a great meal, right?
I have another metaphor for how focus will increase your power without using any more of your resources. And that's a garden hose. Mm-hmm. If you've ever had one of those spray nozzles on the end of a garden hose, you can have it, send the water out as a shower. But then you can also turn it so that it's a really focused stream. Now, when you have the shower, and let's say you're trying to clean off the walkway, and I had this experience just recently when I was in the backyard cleaning off some of the walkway right outside my patio. And I originally had it set for shower, and it hardly moved any of the leaves or any of the debris that was there. But as soon as I put it really hard on stream, it was able to blow off all of the stuff that I didn't want. And yet, I never had to adjust the water pressure at the faucet. So no more water was being used. So focus is a magic ingredient that most people are not aware of. Many people think that multitasking is some sort of a badge of honor. And in truth, there are times when multitasking is beneficial, but not if it's a project that's really important to you. So if you're really looking to learn things more quickly, if you're looking to improve a skill or a talent or some information, whatever it is that's important to you, the more you eliminate anything that is not the original, the better you're going to absorb it. And so we are back to the idea of just concentrating on one thing at a time, back to the meal. Enjoy what you're eating or drinking at that moment to the exclusion of other things. And that not only increases your power, but it dramatically changes the end result that you get. And it does it instantly without any more effort.
You made me, I'm going to tell you, every time you guys talk, I think of things, right? So now I'm thinking of power washing, pressure washing. And when we think about honing in on the power of water, right? Water has so many different ways it can heal us. It can hurt us if we drown in it. It can bathe us. It can sustain life because we can water our vegetables in our gardens. But when it's too much pressure, it can be harmful, because if somebody does not understand how to use a power washer and they put it on their car, they're going to have dings and dents all over their car. They can break a glass with it. They can crack things with it, or they can clean things with it. So it's the amount of pressure that you put behind anything that's going to sustain what you're doing. And so, listen, firemen do not use a water hose because a water hose will not work. So sometimes it's having the right tool. A fire, if you ever seen any shows or any movies where somebody doesn't know how to handle the fire hose and they're flying around with the hose and they can't hold it, their feet go up in the ground, they're falling, they're getting slammed, is because there's no control. So sometimes you have to have controlled focus as well. So thank you for bringing that up. You see, I think of these crazy things. So there you go.
Yeah.
I think that
What are
makes
your thoughts?
a ton of sense. You know, and I think that that's one of those things that we tend not to think about consistently because we get busy, and therefore we've got the laundry list of things that need to get accomplished. So as opposed to checking them off one at a time, we try to rip them off 5 at a time, and then we do a substandard execution or implementation of them all because we're trying to make all this stuff happen at the exact same time. And it's, again, it really, that's where that meme came from, is be where your feet are, right? Mm-hmm. If you're in a conversation right now, be in that conversation, absorb every bit of goodness that's available there. Don't be looking past somebody and over their shoulder and spotting who the next conversation is in the room and all that stuff. That just is, giving off the I really don't care about being here right now vibes. And those aren't going to provide you results. And so focus translates to results.
True. I've noticed, for example, that I see people moving from the approach is exactly the opposite. It's not let me do this and then let me do this and stay present. It's that like, what can I do more while doing this? They always have this idea. So they have to find, okay, maybe I can listen to something. Maybe I can write something. Maybe I can prepare the meal. Maybe the idea is the more the more can I do at the same time, and the better, because I don't waste time. It's really difficult to let people understand that it's way better and more efficient and gives you more results also, and like doing one thing at the same time at a time. And also one thing that I notice is that it's like a paradox, that it seems that if you do one thing at a time, you waste time. But actually, when you do something and you're very present, you create a memory of what you're doing. While when you are doing a lot of things at the same times, you don't have any memory of this, of all these things. And that translates into getting the feeling that your time was shorter because you don't have many details that comes from memory. So it seems to be a paradox, but actually we are shortening our time. We are not gaining time.
Yeah.
Scott, you were talking about the idea of like when you're at a social gathering and you're meeting people and perhaps you like space out and don't remember their names and stuff. Is that right?
Well, part of the reason you don't remember the name is you weren't focused. You weren't, nobody, when somebody says, well, I'm bad at names. No, you're not. Do you know your name? Yes. Well, then you're not bad at names. You're just connecting that way. So yeah, part of it is that people are not focused in that conversation when they meet. They haven't taken a look at you and assigned your name to your face, and there's so many different techniques on memory techniques and things.
In fact, that's the topic. That was the topic of my first book that you'll see over my shoulder, called "How to Remember People's Names." And one of the demonstrations that I've become well known for is I will go into audiences of large numbers of people, and I will, from stage, call every member of my audience by name. And so that's an important topic. And talking about how focus and being able to remember names kind of connects together. And in honor of Concetta, my belated little Italian grandmother taught me how to learn everything faster and easier and remember it. And she did it in just 2 words. So here is Grandma's 2-word mantra on how to learn anything and everything faster and better and remember it forever. So are you ready for Grandma's mantra? 2 words, pay attention. So if you want to learn, have you ever met people that are so broke they can't even pay attention? and so you're absolutely right. When somebody's introducing themselves to you, you need to be present in the moment and say, all right, well, they're about to tell me their name. Stop looking around the bar and seeing what's to drink and who's the cutie over there in the corner and getting distracted by all this other stuff or what you're going to say next. That name is on its way to you. At that moment, if you pay attention to that name, it'll be able to stick with you. But I have a lot of different techniques on the subject. But Scott, you kind of hit on a topic that's really near and dear to my heart. So, but I thought Concetta would enjoy that as well.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
It's very interesting because Matt was one of our speakers in Tampa, and he was able to help people remember things that they never would have ever imagined they could. And if you don't mind, Matt, he had somebody remember a 32 number sequence. He had everybody remember it. And somebody who came up didn't think they could do it, and they did it because he knows how to teach. The guy's an incredible teacher. So let me share with you the next event that we're having here in New York. Take a look.
Unify leadership.
This is what we do, man. This is what we live. This is our calling. And you walk away with a working document, something that you could hold, that's intangible, that you could utilize, man, wherever you are on the journey. This is not for one specific element. This is for real leaders to grow that leadership acumen, to be better in the home, be better in your community, be better in your workspace, be better in your organization, your teams, man.
If you feel you have no value after day one, we'll give you your money back.
Indeed. 100%, bro.
That's how we stand behind what we believe in.
Unify leadership. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Steady and true, the sound of the few that follow new. Strong alive, this is the beat where leaders thrive. Unify leadership.
The song just gets you going, right? Unified leadership with a great human being, Coach Theo Clay. If you're in New York, or if you want to come to New York, come on down. We're also going to go to Statue of Liberty, and that's going to be just fun by itself. Right? Who doesn't want to go to Statue of Liberty?
good point.
Right? But it's not the statue that's going to help you get better. It's being present that's going to get you better. That's what we're talking about today. Being present. Because think about, and when you were talking about, Concetta, about multitasking, we've probably all seen the one where somebody's on their phone and they're so focused on their phone. They are focused, but then they fall into a manhole cover or a manhole, right? Or they crash into a phone. Or I just saw it the other day. I was skimming through stuff and I saw a woman almost get hit by a train. And there was a police officer who actually grabbed her because she was on her phone and she almost fell off the track and onto the coming train. And she was beside herself. At first she's like, "What are you doing?" And he threw her to the floor, wow. Saved her life. But multitasking does not always pay. Thank God he wasn't multitasking. He was paying attention. Pay attention.
You know,
Yeah, brother.
talking about multitasking, a a, um, a a picture that you can have in your head about how it weakens your skill. Imagine that you or somebody you love is about to have surgery. Do you want your surgeon and the other people in the operating room checking their social media status or their stock returns as they're about to do the operation? Well, no. But why not? Because you already instinctively know that the more things that you're doing, the weaker your ability to do any one of them becomes. So if you've got somebody looking to perform a life-saving operation on you, you want their 100% undivided, focused attention so that they can do the very best possible job. So, but I see so many people attempt to defend the idea of multitasking. And let me go back and say again, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's a right time and a wrong time and a right place and a wrong place to use it. The more important something is to you, the more important it is to eliminate the multitask and do the single task.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that fact that, it's intriguing that we live in such an immediate gratification, me, now society, right? And so people have been convinced that they're supposed to. I have friends that go, "Well, I texted you." I go, "Yeah, I will get to it," but it was immediate on my side. That's great. It's not immediate on my side, and so part of it is actually setting some rules, some boundaries, some different things. When people, and again, if I can respond to a text immediately, I will, and if I can't, I won't. Sifu and I were doing a show earlier together, and a call came in from a very, very important person. And guess what? I didn't answer the call. I will get back to him. I told him I'll get back to you, because I was in the middle of a show. You don't stop down life, or there's too many people encouraging people to stop down life for immediacy, as opposed to do the thing, complete the task, and go on what's really important. And I think it becomes priorities in different things. And I think there are, not a judgment, just an observation. I think there are differences between the generations. Just a thought. Let that sink in.
Yeah, think.
This, yeah.
What do you mean differences? You mean a 20-year-old something is going to expect you to? They're all texting at the table anyway.
And I think what's hilarious is they're texting each other and they're sitting next to each other.
Correct.
It's like, have a conversation. You're given a mouth for a reason.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
That's so true. But also you introduce something very, very important that I think that it's the very core of attention and focus, because we tend to talk about attention and focus as something that is very related to productivity. But actually, at the end of the day, for me, it starts with an act of responsibility and care, because it's the only way we have to demonstrate people that we care about them, because actually we are taking our time and saying, this is for you. And actually we don't have anything more powerful that use our attention to tell people, I care about you. And it's really, really, very, really important. And it's so strongly related to responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
We have responsibility also to be focus with the phone so that we don't end up under a train, because it's not just about us, it's also about the person that guide the train, so that drives the train. So yeah, it's very, very, I think it's the basic of society being together and being connected. That's why I always say, like, focus for me, it's it thrives in connection. It doesn't thrive in like, let's remove everything, let's isolate ourselves, let's stay away from everything. We are here to stay connected first of all, and support each other. That's where attention really really start. Then of course it has also the productivity side, and everything that is related to, yeah, basically on productivity, but still it's part of us living together.
I just love your website, sustainablefocus.co. So talk to us about sustainable focus, because it's across your website. It's on your website. It's going across the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
And there's so many thoughts that came to my mind, but I just want to hear about sustainable focus.
Yeah, actually, the idea of sustainable focus comes from the fact that when we think about focus for productivity, we have this idea that we have to be able to sustain focus forever. So we think about sustained focus, meaning the ability to stay on a task for a very long time. And it seems to be never enough. Like, okay, I can do it for 1 hour, but you should be able to stay focused for 5 hours. So like sustainable focus was the like in like contraposition, and say focus and attention are tools that helps us, like that help us create what we want to create, achieve what we want to achieve. It's not something that is just there for like finish the task and being productive. It helps in every field and in every moment. So we don't want to think about focus as something that we just have to like uh, fight for just to have it always on. It's impossible that it's always on just the task that you decide, because the role of attention is very very it changes, and it's different from every task, and also in different phases of your life, different phases of your journey, of your day, and also actually life, your uh, life stage, let's say. Because for example, there is this thing that like very young people are so distracted, they are scattered on different things, and people a bit more grown up, they are more focused, they can tell easier what's important for them. Usually it's less things, but also I think that they have different goals. So when you are younger, you have to test things, you have to figure out the world, you want to create your version of the world, and you have to experience as much as possible. And that means that your focus somehow needs to be more scattered. And when you grow up, of course, like also your goals are different, are like fewer, and you can see more clearly, because at that point you are not just testing anymore the word, you have a pretty good idea of what's the word for you, and you want to maybe work on your legacy, maybe work on something that is more focused, as Matt was saying in with the lens. So it really really depends on so many elements. Just saying the goal should be sustained focus every time and for everyone is not sustainable. So that's why sustainable focus. Yes.
I love that. Thank you for that. As you guys know, I'm probably thinking of up 1,000 things when you're speaking. I'm in the moment. I'm listening to everything you say, but different images appearing. So I am focused, but I'm also in this realm of images popping in, right? And that
Yeah.
happens to all of us, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about, I'm gonna defend the youngsters. Are you ready? Who everybody says they can't focus on anything. Sifu, come over here. I'll be there in a minute. I'm watching TV. That's my focus. I don't hear mom. I don't hear dad. I don't hear anything. I'm focused. But yet we say they're not focused because they're focused on what they want to focus on. And I believe that we misunderstand them. So if we can teach them how to focus on different things. For example, I myself will tell my fiance, I'll be home at this time. And I get involved in doing something that I forget that I have to be home at a certain time, or I'm going to go and meet her at somewhere. And all of a sudden I'm getting a text message, but I put it on, guess what? Do not disturb. So now what happens? Now she's getting crazy. She's texting me, she's calling me, but it's on do not disturb. Thank God I have a landline. And she calls on the landline and she goes, where are you? I'm like, I'm still here. She goes, I've been calling and texting you. I said, I haven't seen it. But when I said youngsters, I was really talking about me, right? So in thinking that sometimes we're so focused on one thing that we don't pay attention to the other things that are happening. So sometimes we need to, and sometimes in order for me to get out of that defined focus, I set alarms that will over trigger my do not disturb. And I'll have an alarm saying, it's a song comes on, like, oh, I know that song. I got to go here, or I got to go do that, or I got to call this person. So I do have triggers that help me get out of that focus and focus on the next thing, the next meal. And that's what a good waiter is going to do. They're going to come over and go, can I remove that dish? We got the next one coming. Right?
I think a big part of that, and it's so true, but I think that's where it's not a shot against the generations. It's an awareness. It's an observation. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people don't seemingly want to change that. They don't want to add the input so that they can learn faster, so that they can lead better, so they can do these things. I think people have been allowed to absorb certain things in society as opposed to actually being taught certain things in society. Mm-hmm. And I think if we were more proactive in passing down the knowledge, the expertise, the experiences, the wisdom that have been gained over time. I had a conversation with a number of Gen Zs the other day, and they said, I know you think the knowledge, education, expertise, experiences, and wisdom that I've gained over time are unimportant. I'm going to give you one thing to consider. For any Gen Zs who have the desire to learn them, the only thing it will do for you is allow you to kick every other Gen Z's butt the rest of your life. So when you learn the skills, now you can take my word for that or not, but the fact is it will help you going along. But you're going to have to understand the premise that you're going to learn more than they know, and therefore you're going to have a competitive advantage. Take it or don't. It's up to you. You have the choice. That's why God gave us free will. It was amazing how all of a sudden they wanted to learn.
Let me share one more video with you guys. Actually, I have two, but let me share this one.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Absolutely. Jose is, he's a brother, and also, Scott, you're part of the Connected Leaders Academy as well. Mm-hmm. And for us, it's about the growth that we can have with one another, right? Um, if we continue talking about focus, I noticed that some people logged on, listened for 3 minutes, and logged off. I'm just saying. So if you want to know more about focus, log on longer. Like I just logged off just on purpose, just to mess around with you guys. So consider that sometimes a topic you may have to go deeper into it to understand it better, and that's where the focus can actually even come in at a deeper level, right? Because if you read a book, right? I'm reading this particular book, and Matthew's book that he gave me in Tampa is also on my list. But I'm reading this one that this young lady gave me, and I have a stack of reading books that every author has given me, and I'm reading this one is Business Breakthrough, and you can't do a breakthrough anything unless you start to understand it. And that's why I believe the focus is going to come through. And I just I love having this conversation with all of you. So thank you for being here today.
So Sifu, earlier you were talking about your looking at yourself youthfully, and
I do
you,
every day.
if I'm not mistaken, have an important birthday coming up on Monday, March 23rd. That is your birthday, yes?
You got it, buddy.
That's right. Very good. Now,
Also, mine is on Sunday.
yours is on Sunday?
Listen, I'm going to do a little dance for you on Sunday. You do one for me on Monday. Sounds
Well,
good?
listen, on Tuesday, March 24th, I turned 74 years old.
So the three of us, look at.
So,
Okay, Scott, you have to have a birthday in March now.
I did, the 7th.
See that? Perfect.
look at that.
That's incredible.
All March babies in the house. Did I notice I said babies, right?
Indeed.
I love being in a group of youngsters.
You know, we're here we are, we're talking about focus, and we all agree, and we've all expounded on the fact of its importance and its necessity. But rarely, if ever, does anybody teach you a methodology or a technique to be able to improve your focus, or how do you get focus? So years ago, I created a course called Instant Concentration, how to focus your mind in a world of information overload. And in that video-based course, I teach I call it a set of magic words. And I call it magic words, not because it is magic, but it works like magic. You don't need to understand exactly what the mechanism is in order for it to work. And so sometimes you may be reading a book or doing your studies or trying to write something, or you have some project and you find that your thoughts are drifting all over the place. And sometimes your thoughts are like trying to herd a bunch of cats and you can't quite do it. So here's something that I learn and apply and teach to others that allows you to gain control over your own thoughts to bring you right back to where you need to be now. And that is to say to yourself out loud, come back to now. If you say to yourself, come back to now, what you're doing is you are, and this is a weird concept, you are giving yourself the mental instructions to achieve the result you want. Now think about that for a moment. You've got all of these different parts of your mind, and I tell you, you're going to give yourself instructions to do what you want. Well, who is the you, and who are you giving the instructions to? And it's you're not all one thing. And so your conscious mind is now going to communicate directly with the subconscious and give it instructions. Because what happens is when it relies on its own power, when your subconscious is just doing what it wants, it's running amok. It's going all over the place. And this is something that people don't give themselves enough credit for. You can take deliberate control over that process. And when you do, you can now tell your mind, come back to now. Sifu, in martial arts, you guys do this all the time. You have mantras, you have forms, you have techniques, you have katas, you have very specific things physically that you do that'll help you, breathing, that'll help you focus on that exact task that you've got in front of you. When you see martial artists perform these feats of strength of breaking boards or breaking bricks or kicking a certain thing, this is not random. They go through a mental process of allowing themselves to now eliminate all of the distractions to be able to focus in on exactly what it is that they're doing. Maybe you can describe something about the process that you go through.
I call it breaking bread. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I love the concept that you talked about, magic words, and I was going to think, I got my wand. Are you ready? Abracadabra. Abracadabra. No, I'm just kidding, right? I had to do that, right? But I love the come back to now concept, right?
Yeah.
Because you're coming back into your body. You're not thinking outward, and that's what happens in martial arts or anything. When I'm teaching sword, when I'm teaching a weapon that can actually hurt somebody, they have to be super focused because they can actually hurt themselves. And the one thing I don't allow is anybody to run around or move around from where I place them, because somebody else may go into somebody else's space and they'll get hurt. So their focus is to be present where you are, under your feet, right, Scott? You have to be right there in the moment. So that, and those are magical words. Be present, come back to now, come back to yourself, and even go back to your basics, because the basics are magical in anything we do. It's the foundation of every movement, of every beginning, of every ending. Without the foundations of writing, you can't write a book. Without the foundations of storytelling, you can't tell a story. So everything has the foundation, and that's where we have to dig deep and realize that without a foundation, we have nothing to stand on. So thank you for that, Matt.
I also want to add something that is related to what Matt said, is that we tend to think that focus is something that somehow we develop at some point, and it's there. But actually, nobody told us how to do it. And this, you cannot just ignore this thing. We need to have some kind of knowledge about how to focus, because of course, the information is getting really impossible, like the amount of information, and also the meanings. Like we tend to find, it's not easy to find the meaning in what we do, in like define the importance of what we do. So like as a default, we don't have focus. So especially for younger, it's very important to teach how to focus before saying you don't have this cognitive ability, so you must be broken somehow, because you don't know how to do it like immediately or by default. It's very important to insist on this thing, that people need to learn how to focus. There's nothing so natural or so take for granted.
Absolutely. Take nothing for granted. but take everything you can. I'm just kidding.
It's a good mantra.
Yeah. So I want a big shout out to Scott, because Scott was not going to be here. He stepped in because Jose is traveling and so forth. And so thank you, Scott. And I know that you have a 1 o'clock, so we'll start wrapping up. One of the things that we always try to do on the show is to give everybody a chance to talk about their website, and then have people go to your website so they can follow you. And if you're interested, I also have a media package we can talk about as we go forward. So, Concetta, I would love for people to connect with you. So if you can, talk to us about what they can expect when they come and meet up with you.
Yes. So, like, if they go to my website, they can learn everything about my methods, also my framework, and also they can find out how to work with me in person, or like one to one, or to follow different workshops or masterclass that I have. And soon there will be also, oh, they also can buy the workbook. And soon there will be like an app dedicated to people who want to improve focus and attention. So it's a conversational AI tool that they can use to have someone support them through the focus session, and take care of their environment and everything. But it's something that will be there in a month, I think. But yeah, they can find everything on the website.
And the website is sustainablefocus.co.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt, let's go with you, my friend.
Well, I have a lot of free stuff available for all of you, and all of you that are so smart to be tuned in here today. So first of all, you'll notice I have a silver play button award from YouTube behind me. My YouTube channel is called Be Smarter Faster. So if you go to youtube.com, Be Smarter Faster, you will see all sorts of material and training on how to take exams, how to overcome your stress, how to read faster than ever before, how to remember stuff. On Sunday, just a few days ago, I hit 219,000 subscribers on my channel. I have 4 books on Amazon. One I mentioned before with the red cover behind me, How to Remember People's Names. But my newest book, which I just gave a copy to Sifu when I met him in person, is called Future Proof Your Mind, How to Conquer Your Fear of Learning New Things. Look, we live in an age where new information is coming at us faster than ever before. And with AI and crypto and new apps on your phone, and my goodness, even the instruction manual on a new car, it's overwhelming. And so many people do not have the tools, the mental tools, to be able to keep up in such a fast changing world. And so what this book does, it not only tells you that you're okay, but it also gives you a step-by-step process that you can use to be able to learn whatever you want faster and easier without stress, so that you feel comfortable in such a fast changing world. And so you can look me up on Amazon, very easy to find. And then going across the bottom of the screen, you'll see that I've got this URL about tinyurl.com TGD/Matt. TGD is something called the Great Discovery. And I have all sorts of free ebooks, courses, trainings, and a lot of low-cost material that's available for all of you. So I hope you come and visit me.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you. And Scott had to leave because he has an appointment that he's going to. So I just wanted to let you know that both of you were incredible today. And thank you for being here, right? And I just want to share quickly, if anybody wants to connect with Scott, do so. Scott Schilling at scottschilling.com is his email, or scottschilling.com. He's easy to find. I'm Sifu Rafael. I also am easy to find at sifurafael.com. You can't go, it's just that simple. And it's SIFU. Rafael, RAFAEL.com. And I love helping people. That's my mission in life. I create all these different stages for people to come and shine their light. I also help people with communication because I have a communication school. And I help you define the way you should live your life so that you can help more people with my Sifu's Mind Body method. And I want to thank you both for being here with us. What an incredible time. Thank you. Great conversation. And I hope somebody found a way to focus a little bit more and stay in touch with where you are now. Thank you both. God bless everybody. Take care and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
You got it.